Hello, and welcome back to Crit and Crit. I'm Scint,
I'm Axion.
and we are continuing our discussion of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, or the Modern Prometheus, while we play through Castlevania, Circle of the Moon. So, we're actually dovetailing a bit off of some of the things we discussed last episode, at least with regards to a very, very specific monster. Satan. Because you see, Paradise Lost is a hugely influential work on Frankenstein, up to and including being directly referenced and quoted in the text itself. So, for those not familiar, Paradise Lost is a very old work, middling old work, 1600s. Very old for our standards, but considering we have some stuff that dates back to, like, pre-England and things. 1600s work by John Milton, an epic poem about the fall of Satan and the fall of Eden. Hence, Paradise Lost, heaven and Eden both taken away. In the book, it is brought up because the creature learns to read from it because it's one of the handful of books he's able to get from the Lacey's. So, those three books, I believe, are Plutarch's Lives, which is a historical account of several important people, Paradise Lost, and Goethe's The Sorrows of Young Werther. And I find it important to bring these up because 2/3 of these books are fiction. But the creature, being a baby, does not have a concept of fiction versus non-fiction. So, he has no reason to not take the poem and the novel as gospel truth. But Paradise Lost is specifically relevant to him because, as mentioned last episode, he identifies so strongly with it. Because both Satan and Adam are the prized creations of a powerful being who turns his back on them. But unlike either Satan or Adam, the creature didn't do anything. He was rejected before he could even do anything. So, yeah, it's not a perfect analogy, but it's the best he's got.
That didn't go well.
Nope, it did not. Neither did life go well for the creature. So, he directly makes the comparison to Victor himself, outright saying, like, I'm your creature, you made me. I should be your Adam. Taken care of, given what I need, acknowledged. Instead, I'm your Satan, your fallen angel. But I didn't do anything to deserve falling. I'm only doing these things because I have no choice. I wanted to be good. I was benevolent. I helped people. I cared for them. I did the best I could. And when they saw me, they hurt me. So if you can just make me happy, I will have no reason to be mean anymore. Please don't leave me alone. Please don't abandon me like this. But, yeah. Is this the region, the soil, the clime, said then the lost archangel, the seat that we must change from heaven, this mournful gloom for that celestial light? Is this what I have now? You can understand why he resonates so well with this. And, yeah, he finds more and more in common with Satan than Adam over the course of the poem, which is fair because most of the poem is from the perspective of Satan.
Milton was that kind of guy. But he also had reason to be. It was not a happy poem.
Well, I mean, it's called Paradise Lost. It's really Les Miserables, expecting something with the word miserable in the title to have a happy ending. Like, sometimes, like, you don't need to judge a book by its cover, but sometimes it helps.
Time and place. As with everything, time and place. Ah, thought I could make it.
But, yes, so... there are a lot of really relevant passages in Paradise Lost, obviously, as mentioned. And it's got a lot of very well-known quotes that seem to work very well for the creature's situation.
Got her!
Yay. Farewell, happy fields where joy forever dwells. Hail horrors, hail infernal world, and thou profoundest hell, receive thy new possessor, one who brings a mind to not be changed by place or time. The mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell a hell of heaven. And, well, the creature does try his best to be happy with what he's got, but it just doesn't work. Because he is alone, like, he's actually in a worse position, that he points out, than Satan. Because Lucifer was not the only one kicked out for being a brat. Satan wasn't alone. The creature is.
Mm-hmm. Yes!
You were too happy about his isolation.
No, I got a thing that I really wanted.
See, that means you got a concussion.
I have been wanting this for like the past 3 dungeons.
Yes, brain damage is the truest weapon of Castlevania's heroes.
I mean,
It just reminds me of Evie banging her head on the lights.
I mean, have you seen Trevor in the animated series? That guy has hit his head.
I haven't seen the animated series.
That guy has hit his head on a few things.
Yeah, so it was really interesting that Paradise Lost was referenced in the way it was, simply because it's not often you get a somewhat sympathetic take on, you know, the literal devil, especially not in the era that Frankenstein was published. So it was a good analogy to make simply because religious allusions are some of the most commonly used, specifically because they're such a common cultural touchstone for the intended readership in the English-speaking West. So, yeah, they're very commonly seen just because the author will know that you get it. Mm-hmm. Even if the characters themselves do not share those beliefs. Raised in the Sun actually has a really good example of this. Beneatha, who is a professed atheist, actually references the 30 pieces of silver paid to Judas Iscariot when she thinks someone is trying to get them to betray themselves. So it's just, we know what these things mean. So Paradise Lost, yeah, people are going to know why the creature would resonate with Satan and Adam's positions. They would also be, at Mary Shelley's time, horrified because how can you identify with the devil? Well, because you've rejected me so resoundingly, you've treated me so horribly, but I didn't even do anything to deserve this treatment. It's deliberately meant to create that sympathy, because how can this person feel this strongly in this way? And then you actually have to go through and unpack stuff. That makes all sense.
Yep. And admittedly, you can make a lot of said extrapolations from this.
Oh yeah, like, we're not even talking about the entire poem, because, it long. Good lord, it long.
There is a reason that it's one of the most remembered and most respected literary contributions in modern literary discussion. It is I'm comfortable calling it a masterpiece.
Yeah. So I don't think that his association with Adam is as off as the creation thinks it is.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah. So,
But at the same time, I understand why he would shy away from such.
Yeah. So, Adam has some actually pretty good lines about how he feels with his exile. Now death to hear, for what can I increase or multiply but curses on my head? Who of all ages to succeed, but feeling the evil on him brought by me will curse my head. Ill fare our ancestor impure, for this we may thank Adam, but his thanks shall be the execration. So, yeah. Did I request thee, Maker, from my clay to mold me man? Did I solicit thee from darkness to promote me, or here place in this delicious garden? As my will concurred not to my being, it were but right and equal to reduce me to my dust, desirous to resign and render back all I received, unable to perform thy terms too hard by which I was to hold the good I sought not. To the loss of that sufficient penalty, why hast thou added this sense of endless woes? Inexplicable thy justice seems. Adam, the original, I didn't ask to be born.
I mean, who else would be the original? He was the first.
I know, I just... I couldn't resist.
I mean, I'm right there with you.
But, yeah, it's like...
I didn't ask for this.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason they named that character Adam Jensen.
I didn't know. I've not played this. But, yeah, like, Paradise Lost, on the whole, does not paint the most flattering picture of the Almighty. And that, I believe, is another good reason for it to be referenced in Frankenstein, especially as it casts Frankenstein in the role of the all-powerful creator. Because, if there's anybody who deserves to have that shite thrown on him, it's Victor.
Yep.
But while in Paradise Lost, there are the angels to, you know, appeal to the creator to have some degree of clemency, Victor doesn't have any such voice in his ear. There is nothing tempering Victor's justice, as the case may be.
Quote unquote.
He does what he... Yes, that's why I paused. He is the ultimate arbiter of what happens to his creation. For better or for worse, mostly for worse, entirely for worse. There is no check on Victor's impulse. I hesitate to say power because really the creature is the one who has the power here.
And that's kind of the thing, is the creature submits itself pretty willingly to Victor's authority solely as its creator in exchange for what it feels it is due as a living being.
Which is more humility than Satan has in the poem.
And only when Victor refuses to cooperate does the creature rely on brute force.
Yep. Oh, then at last relent. Is there no place left for repentance, none for pardon left? None left but by submission. And that word, disdain forbids me, and my dread of shame among the spirits beneath, whom I seduce with other promises and vaunts than to submit, boasting I can subdue the omnipotent. Ay me, they little know how dearly I abide that boast so vain. So yeah, if I apologize and submit myself to the omnipotent's leadership, I can come back into heaven. I don't wanna. You can't make me.
That would mean admitting I was wrong.
Oh, hey, Victor, you have a bro. So, yeah.
Or at least I believe that was what Milton was going for. There are modern reinterpretations of the poem that paint a slightly different picture.
Oh, I'm sure there are. There's a modern reinterpretation for almost anything, and that's kind of what makes literary analysis so fun.
I was about to say, that's why we're here.
Yeah, like, books, literature, any sort of art cannot help but be a product of its time, because, you know, time travel doesn't exist. So that's why we look into things, to kind of get a gauge for the values of the era compared to how they look to a modern audience. And it's just endlessly fascinating. Like Frankenstein, as we've shown from the fact that we're still talking about it, has so much you can dig into that would have been read one way back when it was first written versus how we look at it today. Like, I don't know if the creature was meant to be as sympathetic as he is today. Like, I think we're kind of supposed to feel worse for Victor because
we're definitely supposed to feel worse for Victor just because of how hard Shelley goes in on trying to make us feel bad for Victor. It's clear she intended him to be sympathized with. The only question is, are we supposed to only sympathize with him or sympathize with him and the creature?
Yep, and as we mentioned before, Victor's a type in today's society that we've seen entirely too much of for him to garner much sympathy from most audiences. But, yeah, I think I can't really think of anything else specific to add on how Paradise Lost adds anything.
Then
if I sat down and went into super depth, I could, but I really don't want to go through the entire novel of a poem.
I was about to say, that would require unpacking ourselves a copy of Paradise Lost to poke through, which I don't have one immediately on hand. I probably should have, or at least give it a reread before this episode, but I was busy.
I got a few of the relevant quotes I needed, so that's what I wanted to do, but this thing is incredibly long. Like, I've actually skimmed through the whole thing to pull selections out for class, and we don't have time.
Yep. We could do a full-on, thing like this. A full-on series of Crit and Crit on Paradise Lost.
Please don't. I'm not good at the, archaic English. It's not even that archaic, but my brain.
Yeah, I wasn't going to suggest we do so, I'm just saying, we could, it's that long. I mean, granted, we've done shorter series, like with the last one we did with the Puss in Boots. That was pretty short. But even then, I think the Paradise Lost series would be longer. But yeah. It's pretty clear how relevant that story is to Shelley as an author, and how much it shaped the way she wrote the creature. I would say just as much, if not more, than Byron shaped how she wrote Victor himself. Ow. Anything further you want to add?
Nope, I'm good.
Alright, then we will call it an episode here. And next time, I will spare you a lot of the backtracking that I now need to do now that I have the rock swing and can reach new areas. And we will actually get back to progressing the game, as well as continuing our discussion. See y'all next time.
Bye.